guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be back in Illustrator on the iPad. We're going to go over a new feature. I kind of hinted on this a little bit, but not in depth. If you may remember, I did a whole video about how to vectorize images. I will leave it on the screen over here. You guys can go and check that out after this video. It was really quite fascinating. It was one of the most powerful tools in Illustrator on the desktop. Now we're going to do it for the iPad because yes, they brought it to the iPad. If any of you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to dive into it. If you all are new here, go ahead and subscribe. I'm Angela. I'm a graphic designer and an illustrator. I like to teach all about design and help you all to better your skills or learn new skills or learn new tools, new ways of doing things, easier ways of doing things in these programs as a designer and an illustrator. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much, and let's dive in. I have a 1920 by 1080 artboard here in Illustrator. And I'm gonna kind of create the basis of a homepage of a travel site, basically. I have this photo that I found on Instagram. So beautiful, I loved the colors in it. One of the most powerful tools in Illustrator in that other video was image trace. They also brought it to the iPad. It's a different process, but you can get there. All you need to do is select it. There is a quick selection menu right down here. It used to just be 7 icons that were in this menu. Well, now there are 8 because the first icon is the Vectorize icon. I'm gonna have the properties panel open for you all to see what is going on when we select this. So you have your photo selected. I'm just gonna zoom back out. And then when you tap on this first icon for Vectorize, it's going to take the image and it's going to fully vector the image, meaning it's going to give it workable paths. And those paths you'll be able to modify however you wish. So in the Properties panel, under the Vectorize option panel here, it gives you the source, which is a photograph. That's true. And it also gives you the color mode. So you can change the color mode from color to grayscale to black and white, depending on what you need. There's also fills for color, paths, corners, noise. You can add as much detail or as little detail as you want. And then there's also a method. This method allows for it to be cut away from the background. The other method is just layers on top of layers, basically. So I'm going to choose the first option, select that. You can also choose to ignore white. So if you have an image that has a lot of white background to it, you can choose to ignore the white, and that way it saves you time with having to get rid of it later. Let's expand our vectorization, which is right here on the very, very bottom of the properties panel. And when you expand it, I didn't change hardly any of the settings because this is just going to be the basis. It expands it for you and look at all the paths you get. Wow, that's a lot of paths. This does act like a regular image trace image. Once you image trace it, it is all grouped together. Go to our layers panel, you'll see that it says group. Let's expand that little triangle and it puts everything on its own separate layer. A million here, oh my gosh. Okay, so let's just hide that away. Let's choose our point selection tool, which is the second tool on the left toolbar, and let's select something. Illustrator crashed. It's okay. It's still there. It saves it to the cloud immediately. That was unexpected. Okay, let's get back into it. After it is done being vectorized, you can choose to ungroup this if you wish to by selecting the third to last icon on the quick selection menu, and that ungroups it all, and you get all these paths that you can then select. From here you can choose to merge or get rid of any pieces that you don't want. You can do this by selecting multiples, deleting them. And you can do this on simple photographs. You can utilize this on photographs that are a little bit more detailed, like this one. There's lots of different options. They were able to bring out this really powerful tool to the iPad version. However, be careful with the size of your image because Illustrator crashed on us. This image isn't really that big. Now, in the properties panel, when you vectorize, it would be a good idea to simplify the pathways before you expand it, so it gives you less pathways to have to deal with. Select a whole bunch of these, go into our Combine Shapes panel over here on the right toolbar, and I'm going to combine them. Don't forget to convert to a path. It doesn't really work if you don't do that. Select the correct color for it. So much better. By the way, how many of you really like the fact that you can preview what your full combined shape would be or minus shape would be in the Combined Shapes panel? I really find that super helpful. All right, so then let's add a new layer here. Let's go into our place options over here. Choose our photos. We'll try this one. Let's select our Vectorize option right here on the quick selection menu. All right, here's our selections. Okay, for paths, decrease it from 50% to 23%. We don't need that many paths. All right, so we're gonna ignore the white and let's expand our vectorization. We don't really have a lot of noise. We have some corners, we have less pathways, and we have full color. So let's expand this and see what it gives us. I'm not gonna ungroup it just yet. Let's deselect. I think that did a really good job. And we can also clip mask this to the artboard itself. Tap on the layer itself, and then we can create a clipping mask. Make clipping mask out of the object panel on the right toolbar. So all these are workable paths. You can go in and change the colors if you wish and modify anything you want to. This really is one of the most powerful tools that you can use on the iPad version of Illustrator. So you can have your pathways fully workable, so you can change anything you wish with this new Vectorize option. We can even place an image that is very intricate but has a lot of white space in it too. So we can vectorize this image and it will give me all the pathways. I personally have used this quite a bit, mainly to save time, but also to help me with different styles. Colors, yes, I want full color. Pathways, I don't want them to be so complex, so I'm going to bring it down to about 22%. I don't want any noise, even though there's noise in the gravel on the ground here, I don't want any noise. I'm going to ignore white just to see what kind of options it will give us. It may just turn all the white into different color. So we'll see. Let's expand our vectorization and see what it gives us. Depending on the size of your photograph, it will take its time processing to give you all the pathways that you need. It's thinking really hard with this one. I do suggest using a smaller DPI image or smaller aspect ratio image for this on the iPad, but for the desktop version, any DPI or aspect ratio photo will be perfectly fine. Just on the iPad, it seems to be a little bit sluggish, but this is brand new. So it gave us all of our pathways, and just as I expected, it did ignore the white color in the background. Instead, it gave it a gray. Ooh, this looks really good. So in comparison to the original photograph, this is extremely detailed. This I'm highly impressed with. Even the gravel down here, it gets a little muddled right here in this section, but oh my goodness, this is so accurate. This is extremely accurate. And it even gave me all of my pathways, which are pretty similar to the pathways I had originally in this image. If any of you have seen my other video that I did with this image, I'll link it somewhere on the screen, but this vectorization tool is amazing. Okay, with this, you can definitely change up the colors here if you want to go super intricate. Let's choose our pink color here. Add that to our swatches. Let's also choose this one and that one. There we go. Oh, the rotate canvas on this is still a bit glitchy. What do you guys think about the rotate canvas, by the way? It's still a bit glitchy to me. We can take this car back here. It could be the same color pink as the car here, so it looks like it's the same vehicle. That'd be cool. Change all the pathways to make it look exactly like that image there. I decreased the pathways just so that way it would make this easier There's a lot of gradation going on in here. So you can take those pathways, bring them together, combine them like we did in the one previously. And you can make this look exactly like the car that is in the image. If you had a stock image of this and you wanted to make it different, you can definitely do that. It'd be really quite fun. You can also combine these so that way it makes it less cumbersome to try and get it all together. No matter what photograph you use, you can get just as much customization out of it with Vectorize on the iPad as you can with Image Trace on the desktop in Illustrator. You can reduce the amount of pathways as much as you prefer, customize this as much as you want, and put in as much detail as you want. Whether it's with an image as complex as this one, or if it's with an image as simple as this one full background image to change it up and make whatever you need. So that is one of the most powerful tools that they brought from the desktop version into the iPad version of Illustrator. Go ahead and give it a try. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next video. See you soon, creatives.